All right. Before I start, I have to say I'm sorry. I'm at my office at work. There's nobody in the office, so I'm gonna try and make this a quick. I don't even want to say a 15-minute video because they usually go longer. But so on my last video, if you recall, I was saying the odds of or what would happen if Trump won, or what would happen if Kamala won. And I remember specifically saying the charts were positioned in a negative bearish pattern. However, I said if Trump won, expect a surge. And lo and behold, the night of him winning, the surge began. And the surge has not stopped. Now, there are two dates specifically that I wanted to cover, and it's simply because these dates are very important according to the charts. Um, and so, let's see. If you're wondering if I've sold my position because we've gone above my target of 100,000, no, I have not. I'm not a trader, as I've said it before. So I don't worry necessarily of the day-to-day action. I worry of bigger time frames. So if you need to know how I look at the charts, I usually look at the charts. The smallest level that I look at is the 12-hour. The largest level that I look at is the 2 month, and I stay in those larger time frames. I don't really look at the 8 or 4 or 3 or hourly or the 10-minute or whatever. I don't look at the small ones because that means you're either a scalper or an actual trader, and I don't have time to be trading. I've said this so many times. And I needed to just get this out of the way because I'm sure some of you might be wondering, like, did this fool close his positions like he said he would? In this case, I didn't because the charts have not signaled to it's time to close, but they're about to signal that yes, it's time to close. Now, these are my fixed rules. I'm trying to build my own sense of investing per se, not necessarily trading, but investing where I follow my rules regardless of my emotions. So I will say this: I did feel like I wanted to close out my positions and just capture all this profit. But I didn't because I kept looking at the charts and they were not signaling to cash out just yet. But they are about to signal to me that it's time to cash out. And so I'm going to just cover what I see. Now, that doesn't mean you have to cash out because there are analysts out there that are saying that this thing can go to 120 or 150. That's more realistic. I myself, I'm still, once I show you the charts, I think you'll understand that I'm not in those camps because even though, yes, it broke through my target of 100,000, which is the one I was opposed to, I think right now what you're seeing is a lot of people having extreme emotion and just fear of missing out is extreme right now. Like everybody that didn't get in at the lows or midway point or whatever, they're trying to just jump on this bandwagon at the last ditch effort. But the charts are saying we are into the final, I want to say weeks, maybe 2 months. And I do mean like going into January. So let me start off with what I see in the charts, and immediately you should be able to pick up why I decided to make this video because my God, my business and my job have kept me so busy that I've not had time to do a video. But right now I'm at work. I'm not going to have my meeting for another hour. So I figured I should just get this out of the way because I'm sure some of you are wondering what happened to the cycles, what happened to all of this. And there are signs right now in the cycle. So let's review really quick with this indicator down here, which is the custom indicator that I had built with ChatGPT. This marked the top here back in December 2017. This marked a first top in March 2021. Then this marked the second top towards the end of October. Basically, the last week of October, going into November was technically the top, but you could have pushed it if you wanted to into November. But November, if you zoom in, you can see that's when the drop really began. And so this is based on the 3 weeks, and you'll see why the 3 weeks is the important chart to me because it means you cannot time the exact day of the top. You can just pinpoint the date range, and that's how I use cycles. In this case, you notice that I'm using a 3 week gap to be able to pinpoint somewhere inside of these 3 weeks, we're going to see a top. And so that means we're approaching that top really fucking fast. And that's why I figured I should make this video. So let's just immediately move on to the right side of this chart, and I'll just start going straight into what I see. So using this one here, this indicator, you'll see that right here, when we broke above the white line, at this point, the blue, the green, and the red, which I've covered in previous videos, and I don't want to cover it because I'm short on time, right there, when all three cross paths, that was a top. Now, that did not occur. You'll see it didn't occur until again right here. And as we get, I'm going to zoom in right here. You see at this point, because this is the 3 weeks, really you had an entire month and like I want to say a month and let's say I'm going to say 5 weeks because each bar represents 3 weeks. So that's a total of 6. But really you don't want to be at the last week because then you can see that's when it started to decline right here, the price where you see my mouse. So the idea is as soon as I see all three, that signal, the top, which was this previous bar, which was the week of October 25, 2021, that was the top according to this system. But although we all know we went into the November when I believe Elon Musk came out into Saturday Night Live and then he made his comments about Doge and whatnot, that technically marked the top, and from that point on you saw the decline accelerate. So where are we now? If we go by this one indicator, which I've said we don't use one, we use many indicators, which is where I'm going to head to next. You see this one marked the top right here where all three crossed. This marked the top right here where all three crossed. We move on to the present day and we are about to have all three cross. Now this is the point where I'm trying to get to, that it hasn't happened. It's on the verge of happening. And I have other charts and indicators signaling the same thing, that we are about to top. And it can be somewhere between the prices of current price all the way to like 110 and I don't want to say 115. That would technically be the top. The problem is right now, all the last minute retailers are jumping in on this bandwagon. And I suspect it is very late for them. Because if you recall from the very beginning, I did not put a lot of money on this run. I put money here, 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 and my last one was right here. And then I waited and I let it ride till this point. I didn't touch it because that was my rule. I wanted to really stick to my rules. However, when we got to this point, I was saying if Trump wins, and I have all the previous videos, if he wins, expect a surge. And I said, but if he loses, expect a collapse. Obviously, he won, and you can see right here, this indicator told me to get in on right here. You see this red line right here on August, the 3 weeks of August, which is August and into September, basically. This was saying get in, meaning very likely that Trump would win because the indicator was already bottoming. It wasn't at the bottom, it was bottoming, meaning you could enter a small position and build your way up. Now, I did not disclose that on these videos because, again, I didn't want people to say, well, you said to fucking go in and all that. I'm very careful on what I say now because I know that some of this shit, some people are like, all you hear is price go up, dive in. Price go down, sell everything. I've seen people just fucking FOMO in and also panic sell. And so I was avoiding that. So anyways, this system was telling me to get in. And if you don't believe me, this is the larger time frame. But if I go into the smaller time frames, I would have also seen this right here bottoming out along with this one over here trying to tell me to get back in. So did I buy at this position? Very little. I did. I spent about $2,000, actually no, $2,300. I take it back, $2,300 spread across a couple of coins. So if you're wondering, did I make bank? No, not like the first time where the first run back in up here, I made a substantial amount of money, but I did not sell because I wasn't fully, what's the word I want to say? I wasn't fully trained on how to use the cycles and mastering the candle patterns. But if you see my videos on TradingView from the very beginning, I did cover that this was a bear flag, and I got that one right. And if you don't believe me, go back to my first 10 videos on this TradingView account and you will see them. Anyways, moving on to right here. Because the green, the red, and the blue are close, that means we have dates that are coming up that are important. So here's where things are going to get messy. The first important date where this could be in its, I don't want to say confirmed top, is you see the date at the bottom? Let me put a line because I know some of you will say, what date did he say? Right here. that the date of December 23rd, which is, again, this is on a 3-week chart. So that means starting December 23rd, going into 2 weeks after that, or 3 weeks, I'm sorry, that's when this system is trying to say we might hit a top. Now, if you're wondering what else is there that points besides this, the very chart underneath it is saying that. Right here, let me see right there. This one topped, this one topped, this one is not there yet, but it's getting close. So I suspect we're going to see this thing also break out into this. Now, that's the point why I'm trying to get at. This is saying, excuse me, when we hit this, we might have, if I was to just use a straight line, into somewhere between January and March is the top. So basically Q1, if you wanted to have like big time frames, this is saying somewhere in Q1 we hit the top. However, I am not that convinced that it's going to happen in that point, because I suspect there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. Now that we have the hedge funds and all these big money players involved, their business is to make money, so they're trading in and out. So if you look at it from a business perspective, all these hedge funds are going to want to close out positions either the first 2 weeks of January, so they don't have to pay taxes on all the crypto trades from last year. They just sell and profit everything Q1, and they basically have 12 months, if you will, to build up money to pay for the taxes they're going to generate. Or they might sell at the very last week of December, which would be the week of Christmas, from the 23rd all the way to the end of the month. You could see selling pressure. Now, it's one of that's why I'm saying we're getting very fucking close, because again, the first signal happened here, the marker, all 3 lines at the top. The second marker was right here, all 3 lines at the top. The third marker we're about to hit, and so I suspect we're going to hit somewhere here. Now, where does that put the price? I'm not entirely sure, because I'm following these indicators. So this is the first one, then this is the second one, and you see already up here we have a sell. Now this one also has a target and 2 target dates, and so I want to go back into this one. And this is the swing trading setup that I put together. So it's not necessarily to be 100% this is it, but this one using cycles gives me 2 dates. The first date, now again, if for reference, the cycles you see right here going up into the top and then being sucked into this trough, again to the top, and then being sucked into this big trough. And then this cycle here, this one being the top here, but then ultimately you see that it's still spiking up. So that means this cycle is where we would see the next top. Now this cycle puts it in the date range of December 23rd, again, all the way out to April. Usually we go by, the cycles do not give you exact dates, but they give you date ranges. I've said that in many videos before. So this one is saying out here, the bottom cycle, the one using the ChatGPT indicator, if you see how accurate, like the top right here, and it went into the trough, peaked out right here, the small cycle, went into the, let me move that, went into the trough right here, peaked out over here, went into the trough, peaked out, but then went into this major trough. Then we now have 1 big cycle, 2 small cycles, 1 more big cycle, and 2 small cycles as guiding reference of where we should go. So with that, that means we have 6 cycles combined that are pointing that then we can say with a certain level of certainty that we should expect a strong downturn coming into this cycle, which is between the dates of March 2025 all the way into December. So basically, Q1 might be the top of this upcoming blow off top. So the catch is this: do we sell at the end of December, people trying to, all these big businesses, which would drag the price down, or is it going to continue? So right here you see this cycle says between December 23rd all the way out to probably March, before you see the cycles here up here fully sucking it down. Or this one, which is saying we're already topping and we're about to starting December 23rd, we're going to start dropping down. Notice the cycles are not perfectly aligned, and that's because the bottom cycles are based on the ChatGPT indicator. The top cycles are based on the price action. So this is why, like I said, cycles are not to be used for price targets or like date specific dates. They give you date ranges of what to expect on these certain date ranges. So in this case, these are saying we do not go into Q2 running up. This says from this point going into somewhere in Q1, we top out. and that's it. We begin a strong descent, just kind of like when we went up here where this was about 70 and we dropped into this point. That was a 76% drop. Now let's just take the exact same amount between 76 to 80, right? Let's just say from this point, we go to, let's just say 80, let's say 70 just for the hell of it. That would put us at 34, which is the pivot point line, the midway between bullish area and bearish area. That's literally it. Now, does that mean that's going to happen? Uh, Likelihood is that we would drop into an ABC, which is what I want to cover next. So I'm at 15 minutes in. Now I'm going to move away, but I hope I made my point clear that cycles are saying we're entering the top before we get into a big pull down, like I said over here. This one is also saying the same thing, but this indicator says not yet. We're very close, so we basically need to be ready either to cash out, or if you're a trader and you don't want to sell your position, you have to position yourself into a somewhat of a short. But you need to be like good at fucking trading. If you're not good at trading, I'm gonna just say right now, I'm gonna cash out the remainder of my position and just fuck it. If I miss any more gains, I don't feel bad. I made a good chunk of change on this one, but nothing near what I made when I first rallied all the way up here. Now the reason is because when I was down here, I was not buying as aggressive. I believe it was around 13,000 I spread across down here on all my positions. Yeah, around 13,000. And then up here, right before the Donald Trump victory, I put another 2,300 into just like 4 or 5 coins, and that was it. So don't think, guys, that, oh, this was rich. No, I'm not rich. I'm actually just very happy with the gains I've made, because my main focus, as you guys know, I have a full-time job, I'm salary, and I also have a business which has been doing amazing. I'm actually going to dive deeper into my business. So crypto is just another income generator in my portfolio. But anyways, moving on to the next chart. This one I just wanted to emphasize quite a bit because this one has a lot of useful information. And we're moving on. This one here, just so that we have perspective, is set to the weekly. And this one is set to on the left, monthly, on the right is weekly. We'll start with the one on the right. The one on the right says we're topped. This one showing signs of weakness with the lighter bar. This one has topped, already breached the top. So we have 1, 2, possibly 3 with this lighter bar, 4, and then this one 5 already. All 5 of these indicators are saying that we've topped. So that's why you see the bars up here on the weekly are smaller, and smaller. Yes, they're still moving up. Yes, I get that. But this is now saying the price is weak. It's having a struggle moving up. But yes, it is still moving up. And so this is why I think this is the Santa Claus rally, the final push of the year before we see a healthy pullback. Now, I say healthy because there should be some point in Q1 where we top out. But that's something to just as we go. Now, this one here, and I'm probably scan. I mean, it's 18 minutes, but the information needed to be said. Now, this one, again, a weaker bar signals that this is running out of steam. These from the Kendall report are saying that the price should begin its reversal. But again, these are on the weekly. So this says don't think immediately. This is why I look at the bigger time frames. So this one is also on a sell signal. It's been on a sell signal since the Donald Trump victory. So that's why I said do not ever rely on one indicator. I'm relying on several as a consensus. And I'm beginning to see that consensus now where many indicators across the board are saying, be ready because this can get ugly real quick. And it's better to be out, let's say 3 weeks ahead and miss out on another $10,000 uptrend before the exchanges lock up, you're unable to get out, and you regret not fucking getting out weeks early. And so right here, what we see is we have a trend line of a top here, and this indicator that was provided by someone that used to talk to me privately. We used to chat back and forth of strategies. You'll see right here that the indicator this person provided me is actually also saying the ultimate resistance was at 100. That was my resistance. Obviously, we've broken through it, but now we're going into the next target, which is 112,500. that's now no longer resistance. That's overshoot, meaning you've gone above and beyond. And then if we get into 125, which is where I've actually seen some professional traders say that, they believe we're going to go into the extreme overshoot. And from there, it's, let's say 137. I don't think we're going to get that. I believe if we push it from now till the end of the year, it might be 112. But that's on a good point because this line is pretty strong to beat. And right now, it's beginning to hit that line. So that's why I'm saying my target was 100, and it wasn't just a number out of my ass. It was a number based on this line before, and I just didn't want to mention it. But there you go. So now, what's happening down here with these cycles? These cycles were created based on the MACD 2-week indicator. So if you want to just build this chart layout that I have, it's the MACD on the 2-week, and that way you see when they cross, that's where I have a cycle starting point. Now up here, you see this one was trying to go down because the trough was pulling it, but then this other cycle pushed it back up, and you can see we're reverting. But again, we're reaching a top on this small cycle. Now this cycle date ranges from, let's say, December, and I'll say right here would be the end of it, which is, again, April. So in Q1, so again, somewhere in here, we're going to top out. So that means, again, I see if I were to go based on this line, it's at 110. All right, so I'm going to move on because I know that I'm going fucking overtime as I usually do. All right, this indicator, I like this setup because this is the one that's going to give me the signals I'm looking for. The signals that says, hey, you've reached confirmation of a sell. And so follow along on the left with the blue lines as I explain it. We need the red dot signaling a bearish reversal, but it's also above the 2 red lines, which means it's overbought extreme. We need the ChatGPT indicator to be extreme above the red line. And then the last one, the MACD crossing down. You have 1, 2, 3. That's a confirmed downtrend, and meaning price is going to reverse. The second blue line, red dot, price ChatGPT indicator above the red line threshold, and then the MACD cross, confirm. And you repeat that process, and you can see that alone, with the exception of this one right here. Now, I do need to point this one out because we met all the indicator requirements, except this one didn't go above the red lines, but it was right there at the red line. So I included because I'm like, that counts, red confirmation above the red line on this indicator, and then a MACD confirmation cross down. So far these match up. And then this one, the previous one that we had back here in April, right here, red dot crossing down above the threshold, ChatGPT indicator above the threshold, and the MACD crossed down. All 3 met, price went down. However, it went down into 49,000, which was at the wave 4. Now here is where we have a problem, wave 5. The Elliott wave indicator is suggesting this is wave 5 out of wave 5. So reverse, I'm sorry. The orange 5 is wave 5 out of the bigger trend, wave 5. So for those of you that don't know, Elliott wave has waves within waves. So right now you see right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then an A, B, and then a C correction right there. You see the orange ones. Now it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what comes after 5 is a strong ABC correction. That's what we're expecting. Now, the reason you see the Elliott wave indicator with these dotted lines instead of a solid line is because the Elliott wave indicator is trying to confirm that this is 5 out of wave 5. And if it is, that is a grand super cycle top, not just the basic top, because notice the blue number 5. It starts all the way right here. This is the starting point, I believe, somewhere in here. You go 1, you can't see it, but I see it right there. 1, and then 2, blue. I'm following the blue. Then 3, then 4, and then 5. So this is the grand super cycle, 5 out of the 5 wave. And if that is true, that means the collapse of Bitcoin will be devastating. But like I said, it will not happen until 2026. So you still have plenty of time, even though look at the indicators on this chart. Extreme overbought, extreme overbought, extreme overbought, extreme overbought. And if we look at the Kendall report indicators right here, they're all saying this is it. We're topping out right now. And so this is why this indicator bundle setup is close to confirming. So this is why I said we're not there yet. But this, look, red dot above cross. We're not there. We don't have the red dot. We have the sell signal. So the ChatGPT indicator is saying we're there, but we need the MACD confirmation and the red dot. So we're very fucking close. So this is why I haven't sold my positions, because I need confirmation that we're almost there. We're very close, and that's why I think we're at the few either final days or final weeks. So that's why this video is so important, because I know so many of you are thinking, no, it's going to keep rallying. I'm like, I got bad news for you, and it's based on indicators. Okay, so how much time am I in? Ugh, 25 minutes. All right, I might get fucked here, because if I go longer than 40, I know fucking TradingView doesn't let me upload. So anyways, we're breaching the charts. If you remember, I've always said that if we go, this is the safe zone in between 84 and I said 96-ish. This is the very safe area to cash out, and you will not have any problems getting out of any exchange or whatever. We're up here in the yellow zone, which is like caution, because trying to get out here, in some exchanges, you might run into problems. I've actually read reports that some exchanges like Coinbase have been now starting to restrict people, while in other exchanges, they're flat out limiting how much you can cash out. And so even the exchanges are preparing for people trying to fucking like cash out or convert to USDC, or just quite frankly, run on the bank, because banks would not have that much money to cash you out. And so I've noticed there's been chatter on Reddit and chatter on forums that certain exchanges are beginning to put fucking limits on people cashing out. So that's why here I have it as a caution, because it's now you can still get out, but we're running into issues now, and it's not a big deal yet, but it will be if everyone tries to cash out at the same time. I have the red box because I still think if we run into the red box, we're looking at 100 and change. And that's why I put it like this. Anywhere in the red box is extreme danger. It's just you're asking for being stuck in the exchange, and then the exchange locking you up to get out once we're back down here or somewhere down here. I'm only saying that because that happened to me on the Voyager app. I did get locked out. I did get crushed. Did that fucking stop me from investing? No, but that's why on this current run, I was much more cautious. And yes, if some of you are wondering, I do have 4 wallets. I wasn't using them that heavily on the last run. This time I am, but it's just more or less like, I wasn't, what's it called, FOMOing in like some people were like unloading all of their fucking paychecks. I was not. I still maintained my cool in how much, like a percentage, but it was every paycheck was a percentage I would put. And so for me, that's why it wasn't painful. Yeah, I didn't like it, but it was not something that I'm like, oh, I can't sleep at night. No, fuck that. I'm like, I'm just going to keep going and learn from that mistake. So this is why on this run, I did get involved, but I wasn't heavy involved like I was, because I was also learning the cycles and making sure everything worked. And so I'm pretty confident we're reaching the top right now. And although I know some people are saying we're going to go to 130, 150, sure. But breaching this red square means when that turn occurs, if you're not careful, you may end up in a position where you will be fucked beyond repair, because the exchanges will lock you up, or quite literally, some people have been saying that Coinbase bans them from getting their money out, so they completely lose everything. So this goes back to the whole that joke or that statement, not your keys, not your crypto, whatever, right? But I'm only saying because a lot of people, myself included, when in the days of Voyager, I had money in Voyager and Coinbase and in 3 other wallets. And so I didn't completely get wiped out. If some of you are wondering, I didn't. But it was a hit that I myself didn't like. Obviously, I've recovered a small fucking percent of it, but it's not the end of the world, because that's why I have, as I've said to my coworkers, multiple sources of income. So I don't sleep at night worrying about shit like this. I'm only making this up. Or I'm sorry, I'm only explaining this to people because you guys might be wondering, if you're so good at this shit, how come you're not rich? Because I don't go all in, okay? I never go all in. I just try to be as disciplined as I can, and let's go from there. So anyways, bottom line on this chart, we're in the cautionary zone. I know some of you are thinking, this is it, we're going to run up. I think this is, it's a little late. If you did not get in down here or somewhere in here for this run up, and you're trying to get in here now, bro, you're like you're what do you call it? The Johnny come latelys. You're so fucking late to the game. You might get crushed if you get in here because you might be buying quite literally as we're nearing the top. And even if the top is at 125, let's just say the top is at 125. Let's just go there above my extreme threshold, which I don't think we're gonna get. Then that means you're only buying up here just to get liquidated as it goes all the way possibly back down to this blue line, which is in the 60s. So it's like, bro, you fucked up. You fucked up. Just admit it. Take the loss. So again, another chart that says we're at the fifth wave. And look, the blue one is the one that has me concerned because the blue one says this is the third, this is the fourth, this is the fifth. But the blue one is the large one. It's the grand super cycle. So that one comes down, the A goes like this, and then the B goes into here, I want to say in the 80s or 90s before it does a complete collapse into the 40s or 30s. Now, that brings me, I hope I saved the chart. No, I didn't, but fuck it. So this, and I'm going to have to find that other chart. But again, look, above the threshold top area, and we're entering the above the threshold here. So we are, again, in the topping phases. So this is the end stage of this bull run, and it's weeks away or days away depending on if you sell out in December to pay your taxes next year, or if you sell in Q1 to pay your taxes in 2026. But either way, the sell-off is going to be brutal from what these charts are saying. Now, look at the MACD. The MACD is not that strongly bullish right now. Even though so many people are extreme bullish, the MACD is not agreeing with everyone. And the MACD is my favorite indicator. In fact, look at this. We have a sell signal already here. And this is on the 3-day. And the 3-day, you guys know, is one of my favorite setups. And we have a sell signal up here already. So this is already saying get ready for a pullback. And because it's the 3-day, it means it's a strong pullback. Now, some of you are wondering, but it's a flag. Okay, let's assume I'm going to take two flagpoles, one from here to here. I'm going to change the color because I know some people say, but dude, but it's a flag. Okay, let's do that. So that flag, let's say right there. So that flag started from right here where the bottom is right here. There you go. Now, if you're wondering why I did that, there you go. Zoom in here because a lot of people don't know how flagpoles work. The flagpole, basically, you go to this top and you're the starting point. Now, I can do this right there to say it starts right there. All you do is you take the flagpole at the bottom point here, and that's where the pole starts. So I usually copy it, but this time I'm just going to drag it over, put it right there. And this tells you, let me move it a little more right there. This tells you the date range and the price range. Now notice the flagpole, if we go by that basic flagpole, we're at the date of the flagpole ends on December 23rd is when the flagpole ends, and the price was supposed to be at 94. We're way the fuck above that. And look, we have a sell signal already. So if I know some people are saying the flagpole didn't start there. Some of you motherfuckers are like have been saying the flagpole started here, which that does not make sense because this whole gap of nothing, you can't use that as a flagpole. You just can't, bro. You can say the flagpole is here and just take this and to here because then you have these markers. But if you go by an even smaller flagpole, you can go here. Now, the reason I don't trust this one is because this flag is too long for this pole. Now, the flag is not that long when you take it with this pole. That's why this flagpole goes right here, and it points to the date of around, let's say, January, depending on how you position it. So, again, the date range is still around here. And notice this flagpole right here. Look, it's at the top of this cycle right here, right? Like, notice this, people. It's at the top of the cycle where this flagpole is hitting. So, again, we are at the top or topping right now, and you can see the MACD is not strong enough or not bullish enough. I think I'm going to get fucked here on the time, 34 minutes. Well, fuck it, I'll keep going. All right, so this one is now on the verge of signaling a strong sell. The second we hit a strong sell, that to me signals that's it. No matter what you think of Bitcoin, there is no strength left to continue going up because all indicators have said it's over. This thing goes into strong sell. I'm probably just going to close out all my, what's it called, shit coins and just leave the top three Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I don't want to say the third one, but I'll leave the third one for everyone to guess. Everything else, I'm probably just going to liquidate. But again, this is what I was saying from the beginning. Several indicators are now signaling that we're nearing the top, even though some people are saying we're just starting. I'm like, bro, we fucking started way down here. If you didn't go heavy down here and you bought, even if you bought right here, you're still okay. But if you didn't buy anything, you're fucked. Granted, I didn't go heavy down here, but I was telling all my coworkers every time I was buying, I was telling them, and I told them about when I sold up here, I sold like about half, a little bit over half. Then right here, as the the election night seemed to be for Donald Trump, I added 23, and I didn't tell anyone. I added like $2,300 because I wasn't sure myself. I wanted to test my own system, and it worked. So, anyways, going back at this. This is topping. This is hitting the top again. This is getting ready to go into strong sell. This one has not topped, which is why, again, we're approaching, but we're not there yet. We're very, very fucking close. And so this chart setup is saying we're close. Now, the reason I have these cycles down here, these are the cycle lows. This one is what I suspect, again, sometime between, let me zoom in so I can do this. Sometime in basically all of 2026, it's at some point in 2026, we might have an extreme low, which means I think somewhere in Q1 of 2025, we top out and this begins its destructive collapse. And I say destructive because I hope I have that built one. No, look at this. Elliott wave thinks we can go down to 70, 60, or even 50. That's A, which I'm not even going to discuss, but I am going to discuss this other one over here. Full screen this. So this one, for the 4-year cycles, I have the top here, and we're in the topping phase again of this cycle. And this cycle bottoms into, again, somewhere in the middle of 2026. So this is why I look at the bigger time frames, because you don't want to find the exact top. You want the range of the top so that you know you can get out safely. Now, if you look at the left, it's way outside of my boundaries of safety. This is a impulse, like parabolic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But either way, the retracement looks pretty nasty. Okay. And this indicator I've covered several times. Every time we hit a red dot, that means the reversal is quite brutal. So we're there. So we're just waiting for that reversal, but there could be the blow off top into the end of this month. So it's barely December 16th. I would say into Christmas, December 23rd, going into the 24th, or maybe just a few days. You know, some people might be, I'm smart, I'm just going to cash out early. We might see that accelerate the few days or this upcoming Sunday going forward. So just keep that in mind. I know I've already gone over my limit. I hope fucking TradingView doesn't fuck with me and lets me post it. But again, this indicator top here, this doesn't count because this signal is mixed, but this was a strong top. Here, we're going to probably get that strong top signal again. And then here, again, we have all of these topping. This one is on the verge of topping. So all indicators saying we're at the end of this rally. Now, again, look at this right here. The 5th out of the 5th grand super cycle. And so we're approaching the end, or we're at the end, because these bars, also notice these bars are large, small, smaller, small. We might get a tiny one after that, and that tiny one is it before we start the decline. Now, what I think I fucked up, and oh no, here it is. This is the one I was looking for. This is the last chart I think that is important. The rest is just like the dollar and whatnot. This, remember on my videos, I was saying we had an ABC, or we could go into the 5th. Notice we've gone way out of my threshold already. And again, what I see here, if you can't see it, I'll just draw it in. This looks to me like a giant shoulder, possible head, and then a possible shoulder going into this. Now, what I don't know is if the bottom low is going to be in 2026, or worse, it's going to be in late 2026. So this is all 2026, these low points I have here. What I don't know right now is if the low point is in, let's say, Q2 2026 or Q4 2026. That's what I don't know. But if this plays out, we're looking at a massive head and shoulders pattern that is building up, And if it plays out, it will take price into the 30K, maybe even lower. But I want to say 30K would be the low point that I see. But either way, even if we break right now into 110 or 120, I'll just say it for those of you Bitcoin boners guys out there, we're outside threshold boundaries on all indicators. And some of you might say it doesn't matter. That doesn't. All these metrics don't matter. They mattered for all of these others. Why wouldn't it matter for this one? What's so different besides all these hedge funds and ETFs and all that shit? Anyways, let's go. So yeah, so this is the chart that I wanted to disclose, that even though, yes, I removed the other ABC and I said this could be a fourth out of the fifth, because it turned out to be the fifth, that means we now have a potential A, B, and C, but a horrific one. If this plays out, you're looking at a shoulder, a head, another shoulder, and a collapse of epic proportions. Okay. Ah, fuck, I'm at 40 minutes. I don't know if this is actually going to post now. Renko has been topped for a minute. Renko is literally just waiting for the trigger. So Renko has been saying, we're done. There's no more room. You see this has flatline because the indicator cannot go any higher. This has topped. This has been topped for a minute. This has been topped for a minute. They can't go any higher. This has been in a sell. So Renko is waiting. So this is why Renko, if I can go back, where is it? It's waiting for this one. So this is the one that's going to signal confirmation downtrend. I already have at least one, which is the ChatGPT here. But then I'm waiting for the MACD. Once I see that, this is over. Okay, so the last one, the dollar. This is the big one. The reason I think 2026 is going to be brutal, and some people just don't want to fucking hear it. The dollar is on a fourth wave downtrend right now, but when it resumes, which if you look at the right, and this is on the 2 month, so this is a very, very, very slow chart setup. But if you look at it, it's about to cross up. So this is a 2 month. So the next cycle starts in January. So this is saying in January, these will be crossing up, crossing, moving up, and then this one also moving up, in fact, topping. So this means this next move, January, seems to be a selling point for everything. Even look at this indicator, has not, the smaller it is, the higher to the top you are, but it's closer to the bottom, in fact. So this here signals the dollar is on a reversal to the upside. Even though so many people are saying the dollar is going to collapse, this here is suggesting the exact opposite. So now I'm going to close out with this. Even though the dollar is getting ready to cross and come back with a vengeance, that means gold, silver, crypto, and the stock market are going to take a beating in 2025, along with a possible strong recession. Now, consider this, the second date. I gave you guys the first date, which is December 23rd going forward, right? At some point in there, I will know if the signals are strong enough to sell or to hold on. The next date I didn't give is the inauguration of Donald Trump. I believe that should be January 20th or January 20th is the inauguration. So the two dates. The January 20th is another extremely important day because a lot of conspiracies are out there that there's going to be so many attempts made by the left or the deep state or whatever the fuck to halt it, to stop it, to disrupt it, to do whatever. In those events, the stock market typically takes a nosedive. And unfortunately, because Bitcoin is now partially tied to the market through the ETFs, there could be a liquidation event coming up. So that's the second date to be very careful with. Now, that also means gold and silver take a dump at the same time. Usually, I've never seen gold survive when the stock market takes a dump like that. But it is something to just keep in mind. The last thing that after that date is anyone's guess. Because even with the indicators, I don't have anything that would point into what could happen after that date. And the reason for that is because we don't know how bad his tariffs are going to go. So he made promises for day one. He said day one, the war in Ukraine would come to an end. If he manages to make that war come to an end, I will be the first one saying here that we're going to see the stock market gold, crypto, and everything surged like we've never seen it surge before. Because at that point there's quote unquote peace, but now we know that Russia's been buying silver. We know everyone is buying what's it called, precious metals. But at that point, if there's quote unquote peace, there's also going to be borderline inflation, because at that point Trump is going to want to make the economy strong, and he needs liquidity. And one of the ways to get liquidity is lowering the interest rate through the Federal Reserve in order to print more money or generate. But the odd part is with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy going in with the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, we don't know what they're going to do. Now, there is a reference point of what might happen. Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, he's libertarian. He came in, he removed a lot of these government agencies. So what he caused inadvertently was, initially he caused an extreme amount of pain. Like, what's it called? Unemployment spiked up when he started getting rid of all these agencies, because he's technically firing thousands of people, government workers. Now, inflation also went up during those moments, but ultimately inflation began to, like, I don't want to say correct itself, but if you want a reference of how this could play out, the only reference we have is Javier Milei, who came in. He didn't do what Bukele did in Salvador, of imprisoning everyone. Javier Milei came in closing out all government agencies. The difference is we have a mixture here. We have Donald Trump, who's going to try and do something similar to Bukele, similar with the criminals and the immigration stuff. He's going to try and close the borders. He's going to try and deport all of these people that are criminals, and then he's going to focus on the other immigrants that are working legally and all that stuff here. And then lastly, he's going to try and close out government agencies. So that's why there's too many unknowns, which is why I don't know how to chart after the 20th. So once we get closer to the 20th, I might have a better update. But this is all I have right now. So the first day, to summarize as I leave this, because I know that I haven't done a video, but it's worth, I guess, the fucking hour-long video at this point. December 23rd is when these charts are quote-unquote going to peak out. Like all my charts, all of them as a consensus are peaking out, saying the top is in. But because these charts are on big time frames, it could spill over into Q1. Remember, just because December 23rd is the first date, that doesn't mean that's the date. It just means that's the date of the 3-week candle, which is 3 weeks. So that means it spills over into January. And there is one other chart that I didn't cover that it spills into February, and it marks February as the top before March onward is pain. So remember, there's tax season and all that. So that's why I say March forward, because there's people trying to sell and to pay taxes and whatnot. We can also see all these other things. But really, from December 23rd could be a quote unquote, I want to say top, even though they say don't try to top or time the tops or whatever. The indicators would say that we're topping and we're approaching the end, but we still have like a blow off top that we should see. So it could be from this point until end of the month that we see a massive surge. So if we see a massive surge from right now all the way till, let's just say the Sunday, which is it the 20th? No, this Sunday is the 22nd. Let's say from right now till the 22nd, if we see a sudden surge, then it would stand to reason that we should see people selling or trying to get out before the next year, because we really don't know what's going to happen. Okay, I think that should suffice. I hope I gave you all useful information. I believe that which chart is the one that has me concerned is this one. Now, this one has called the bottom on Bitcoin. It literally called it right here as the final entry point. So now these two are, because I'm not so sure if this is the entry point or if this is the entry point for the next run up. But one thing is for sure, somewhere in 2026, we'll see the absolute bottom of Bitcoin. So as we get closer, obviously, I'll adjust my charts. But right now, that's what we have. And if you don't believe me, historically, this system has been calling the bottom on Bitcoin. You see, it called it right there before the surge. it called it right here. And this, I have the videos that I was doing that said this is the final entry point before the rally. Now here we have the reverse of a potential drop in final entry point. All right, people. I know I said 20, 30, whatever. I fucking went into 50 minutes. I'm hoping, and I really do hope TradingView doesn't screw me over and allows me to upload this. If not, I'm going to just download this video and fuck it, post it on my YouTube channel. Good luck, everyone.